Now let us look at the extraordinary words. Today we begin to speak about Dzogchen, the practice of Dzogchen. This chapter is section 26, on actually practicing Dzogchen. We must have a kind heart toward all beings, superior and inferior, high and low. High and low, remember this. It is what His Holiness said. In fact, every sentence spoken by His Holiness is very profound and contains essential instruction. So, as I said earlier, even if some Dharma friends never met His Holiness in person, when you encounter teachings like these, you can still say you are a disciple of His Holiness. If you follow these essential instructions of His Holiness, that is enough. As long as you have faith, I believe these instructions will benefit many people. So we must have a kind heart toward all beings, both superior and inferior. Toward those above we need kindness, toward those below also kindness. Toward extraordinary beings we must have it, and even toward very lowly beings we must have a kind heart. This is something to be careful about. Sometimes we are kind to certain people, but toward others, especially when certain situations arise, it becomes quite difficult to maintain kindness. This includes administrators and ordinary worldly people. Sometimes we frequently give rise to negative thoughts. In principle, we know clearly that we should not give rise to such harmful intentions, yet driven by afflictions we are unable to control ourselves. Not only do we give rise to negative thoughts, we even commit harmful action. This is the most frightening and pitiable aspect. Besides this, we should also examine whether the experiential realization of Dzogchen has arisen in our mind stream. If you wish for the lived experience of Dzogchen practice to arise within your own mind stream, then you must practice your Guru's essential instructions for a long time. The Guru's essential instructions are of utmost importance. You should regard every word and every phrase as exceedingly precious, treasuring them as you would treasure gold. In fact, if you have faith, even a single text from the Guru, or even one scriptural citation or one pith instruction should bring you some understanding. If you do not have faith, then even if one speaks for many years, it will be only that. His Holiness gave an example, saying that as for himself, he relied on the interval after every 100 recitations of Mipham Rinpoche's prayer. This was also mentioned earlier when speaking about Mipham Rinpoche. Perhaps it was said on different occasions because His Holiness often said this. So this may have been compiled by different people. Otherwise, in the same book, if these two parts were exactly identical, sometimes they would not necessarily include them. But essentially, it is the same. Reciting direct showing of the nature of mind once, reflecting on each line's meaning, then entering meditative absorption and contemplating for a short while, and seeing whether he could understand a little more. In fact, when His Holiness awakened in those years, he was very diligent. His Holiness would recite the prayer 100 times, and then read directly pointing out the nature of mind once. He awakened through this method. Then he would enter absorption again for a while, and see whether he could understand a bit more. In this way, when I had recited direct showing of the nature of mind, and when the Guru's prayer had been recited close to 1 million times, it seems the word close to is not in front here own million. Here it says close to 1 million. But sometimes His Holiness spoke rather quickly. That is to say, he alternated these two recitations, holding exceptionally strong faith, and after every 100 recitations of the prayer, he would recite direct showing of the nature of mind once. When I entered absorption within its meaning, I felt that the Dharmata of mind truly was like this. In the end, through this way, reciting the prayer again and again, and reciting Mipham Rinpoche's direct showing of the nature of mind again and again, unceasingly striving like this, in the end he basically realized, so this is what my mind is like. He basically came to know the mind's original face. As for this photo of His Holiness, it should have been at Mount Wutai or somewhere else in the early period. His Holiness and most of the monastics at our Larongga all wore clothing like this, with a long outer robe that had decorations here. This may have been from the time of going to Mount Wutai. His Holiness's kila, the one at his waist, was a kila. I also described a little of this in Dream Dust. Everything I understood relied on this unremarkable method, To come to such understanding also required such great austerity and perseverance. His Holiness said, "When I was 20, I felt that among ordinary people it would be impossible to have a sharper wisdom than this." At that time, at age 20, His Holiness himself felt that among ordinary people his wisdom was truly extraordinary. Even so, when I first saw a direct showing of the nature of mind, I thought there was nothing I did not understand, and that I had comprehended it all. But after reading it a second and third time, I then discovered that it contained meanings even deeper than before. In fact, whether we study Madhyamaka or Tantric teachings, some people say the same thing. The first time you read the treasury of the Dharmadhatu, it seems it is more or less understandable. Then after listening a second, third and fourth time, only then do you basically realize, oh, so this is what my mind truly is. In fact, this kind of effort and faith are extremely important. So-called awakening also relates to one's own faith, and also diligence. In many Dzogchen teachings, faith and diligence are always emphasized. If there is no faith, no matter how diligent you are, it may still have little meaning. If there is no diligence, then even having a very pure mind alone is not necessarily sufficient. In whatever one does, faith and diligence are essential. In this way, day after day, I finally understood that Mipam Rinpoche, whom Manjushri deliberately manifested as a spiritual teacher, spoke words utterly different from those of ordinary people. Relying on such Vajra words, this is how His Holiness awakened. Awakening through Dzogchen is something we can also reflect upon later. In degenerate times, Dzogchen's blessings are swifter. Now is an era of coarse and heavy afflictions, so the Dzogchen teachings appear even more profound. If you think, how is this taught in the text of one's own tradition? In the Treasury of Word and Meaning it is said, "In the age of degeneration, Dzogchen is indeed excellent. Many of us also have faith in this. Everyone practices a little and studies a little, including now. Is it not the case that most people have already received liberation upon wearing this time? If so, we also distributed it to everyone that day. It should be enough. In that case, everyone should remember not to forget to wear it. You should keep liberation upon wearing with you. You never know when death will come, so you should wear it every night. Otherwise, if it is not there when you wake up the next day, that would be quite regrettable. If you are able to recite it, I am now gradually translating its meaning. As for the sound, what they prepared before should already be accurate. In the future, there are no plans to revise it. If you recite it yourselves, you can also take a look then. Within our community, some have already made vows or are planning to make vows later. If needed within the classes, we can see whether we can print some internally. Obtaining materials from outside is quite troublesome now. As for printing, if internally we need to satisfy a portion of people who want to recite it is best to recite it once every day. Originally, when we made vows, it was like this. But if that is truly not possible, then reciting it within 2 days can also be acceptable as one's own vow. Sometimes I myself am so busy that today I even got up at 5 in the morning. After that, many trivial matters began, and for a long time it would sometimes stop and then be made up. Whenever there are classes or meetings, the daytime is basically spent in distraction and busyness. So only by sleeping late at night and waking early in the morning is there really no other way. Therefore, when encountering Dzogchen like this, merely saying verbally that Dzogchen is good and saying, "Wow, it's excellent, excellent," liking or praising it like this is of no real use. Each person's life is limited. You have encountered this Dharma, and moreover this year's transmission, this empowerment as well, has been very complete. This is something very rare after His Holiness passed away. So for each person, if you are able to recite, if you recite according to the sound, even if you recite more quickly, it may still take quite a long time. But some people are very diligent in recitation and related practices, so they are able to free up some time. Being able to recite liberation upon wearing is very good. Previously, His Holiness also permitted that reciting it according to the sound is acceptable. At that time, we all began to recite it. But all along, sometimes I did not dare to translate it, sometimes out of reluctance to translate it. So it remained like this and was delayed until now. From last year onward, I thought, If this is not translated, then over a period of time, if our Larangar does not produce an accurate translation, perhaps there will be certain difficulties. Therefore, combining Garib Dorje's commentary with Deba Khenpo's literal explanation, when these two commentaries are brought together, it should form a very complete commentary on liberation upon wearing. So every day I also set aside some time to work on this diligently. I hope that you yourselves as well. Simply saying that encountering Dzogchen is wonderful is not enough. As it says here in the Treasury of Word and Meaning, those of supreme diligence need 3 years, those of middling diligence need 5 years, and those of lesser diligence need 7 years, 11 months, and 6 days to directly realize the complete nature of reality and be liberated as the rainbow body. Later, Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, the leaders of the 7 major sects, the guru of Mipham Rinpoche, said, "Those of powerful diligence at the highest level accomplish in 6 months, those of middling level in 3 years, those of lower level in 12 years. Their conditioned bodies transform into light." Some of us have already practiced for 20 years and still have not transformed into light, so perhaps we still need to make effort, right? Maybe we are the lowest of the lowest, having practiced for 20 years and still not turned into light. Instead, the body has grown fatter. From this, we can see how immense the blessings of Dzogchen are and how profound this Dharma is. Truly speaking, a practitioner who teaches the authentic Dzogchen path is the union of the blessings of the 3 lineage Vidyadhara gurus merged into his speech and mind. If a truly excellent guru transmits Dzogchen, then the blessings of the lineage gurus all enter into his body, speech, and mind. Such a one is truly Vajradhara Buddha. In the degenerate age, if there is someone who transmits Dzogchen like His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche, he can be called Vajradhara Buddha. The so-called guru, in essence, is someone through whose oral instruction one gives rise to decisive certainty in the meaning of the path. A so-called genuine guru is not merely someone who teaches verbally, like a worldly teacher, reading mechanically from a text. Rather, through his instructions and transmissions, the meaning of the path truly arises in one's continuum. For example, if he teaches Abhisamaya, the meaning of realization becomes clear. If he teaches pramana, the path of logic becomes clear. If he teaches the tantric teachings, the tantric path arises within your continuum. Only such a person is a true guru, not someone who merely takes a book and reads it word for word. That cannot be called a true guru. At best, this is called an assistant instructor, or perhaps simply a teacher. Nowadays, disciples' discriminating minds are diverse and varied. If one can teach a Dharma that accords with realization, then one possesses the qualities of a guru. Mipham Rinpoche said, "In degenerate times, decline is like darkness. The age of degeneration resembles enveloping darkness. The degenerate age is like deep darkness, utterly frightening, like being shrouded in night. But the activity of Guru Padmasambhava is like the bright full moon. The blessings and activity of Guru Padmasambhava, like moonlight shining in the darkness, are especially clear and luminous. Relying on the moonlight of Guru Padmasambhava's blessings, even in the darkness of the degenerate times, we can reach our own goal. Therefore, in degenerate times, praying to Guru Padmasambhava is extremely important, and practicing Dzogchen is extremely important as well. Let us stop here. The intended meaning lies precisely in this.
Bandara Padma Sodargye